So what's up, you freaks? So I'm doing making this video to because I saw a video of a guy calling Candace uh, a nut. So she was nuts because because Nick Shirley, Nick, the fraud, the Somalian, the Somalian. I think it's Somali people that they care. And the strange thing that that thing went viral when the Epstein files came out, and now no one talks about it. It was a fucking outrage. Everyone was, oh my god, we have to do something. Someone has to go to jail. Now no one's talking about it. But anyways, this guy was calling BS on Candace because she was calling BS on Nick because Nick was and this was before the daycare fraud. So Nick was not known at all, and apparently Nick went to Brazil, and I'm Portuguese, and this will become relevant in a second. Brazil used to be a colony. Used to colonize Brazil, and we gave them independence. So what happened was Nick was claiming he was with. There's like in the mafia, in Sicily you have like different families, and you have in Italy, and then you have and then you have the Camorra, that's from Naples. You have Cosa Nostra from Sicily, and the Calabria from Sicily as well. And imagine like Comando Vermelho, that was Nick was claiming he was with doing this, and PCC are like the two biggest factions, like the criminal factions, and they became from the story is like they became from two people in a jail cell to now working worldwide. And now they're not just about the money, they're like organized crime, like on they're like even more organized than MES 13. And MES 13 has the initiation, the I don't the beating. You have to have the I you don't have to do nothing of that. You just have to a guy goes to you and he becomes like your handler, and you go, you upgrade your position, but you don't necessarily have to be an assassin. If a I think like if a mission for you to kill a rival, or you got paid. But that's the thing, like they work, the net worth is in the billions, like this was like from the 70s, 80s, now to 2026. Like they just lost a lot of Coca-Cola in costumes, and it was worth millions, and they lost it. Okay, so I don't think Nick. I love Nick. I love what he does. I think like he's a good kid. I don't like when they talk shit about Nick, because there was that kid, like he was like, okay, I understand the professional part. You have to kill that time, but he was like. Because Nick said he cut stuff, and he did, but he was saying, "Oh, I cut it because it's something called dead time, so it doesn't look like it's that long, whatever." So and this guy called BS on Candace, because she said, no way a kid like Nick with that face would infiltrate Comando Vermelho. It's a red command in English, command. Um, no way he has the influence or he knows someone, but I believe Nick was not this is a world of crime, okay? And Nick is, for example, like this is not now. It's not money; it's power. Like if was Louis Theroux and Red Command had something to gain, like to go on YouTube to show we are the bosses. I believe Louis had would have permission to go. That's why they have the all the time they have the faces covered. I don't think it's because they don't want to be recognized by police. It's just that if someone from that's really from Red Command recognize them, they're gonna get killed. What I think it happened was that the guy that approached Nick, that he could get that, he was just from because Brazil is we you can't talk Brazil like it's a normal country. Like Europe fits inside Brazil, USA fits inside Brazil. So there's like five major cities, and that's Brazil. And inside those major cities, just one, São Paulo, has the population of Portugal, just one city. So what I think happened was that that guy, the guys claimed to be Red Command and played like so. Nick had to arrange because that's the thing. Like 5K to them is like is nothing. It's like almost an insult. So I think the guy, you know, the middleman, he said they were Red Command and they played the part and fooled Nick. Although, give credit to him, go to Brazil. That's the thing. He had to had money to have protection. You know, if it was me, if it was me, like I would get robbed. Like I would go back to my hotel in my undies. That's it. I'm not saying I'm braver than Nick, but you know, Nick had that innocence, innocence face. They like they would rob the camera, the phone. They would rob them all. Because it's the thing. When you arrive at Brazil, they give you instructions how to behave when you get robbed, because you will get robbed. So to see this guy call BS on Candace because she doesn't know what she's talking about, no. You don't know what you're talking about. That's like going to, let's like saying that, oh, Nick paid that, you know, that cartel boss Almancho. Oh, Nick paid Almancho, talked to Almancho and gave him 5K to, you know, make a documentary. They will like bury him in the ditch. So to these guys, I've made a video before that I know they were going to do this to Candace. You know, she doesn't have the same habits as Alex Jones. I don't think she even drinks alcohol. But they're going to portray Candace as a crazy person, not as a liar, as a crazy person, because it's harder when they call you crazy and you say you're not crazy, because how do you know you're not crazy? You know, it's a the I saw the origin of a catch 22, and the catch 22 origin was like, oh, if you're crazy, I can dismiss you're dismissed from going to war. Oh, okay, so I'm crazy. Dismiss me to war. No. If you're saying you're crazy, that's because you're not crazy, and that's a catch 22, and that was funny. So But yeah, that was it. I think Nick thought he was with Red Command, but they bamboozled him. They fooled him, and either the both parts were right. Okay, the but that's something I saw suspicious, was that in the Red Command is not favela. It's not. They live. They have Lambos. They have Maseratis. They live that kind of life. So the bottom, the guys that are still in the favela, selling crack cocaine, they don't have permission to give to someone to make an interview about their lifestyle. They don't. They would be killed, and they were not in the very hardcore part of Brazil, because I saw Ice-T, and this was way back in MTV's, and they were like, "Oh, motherfuckers, you think Compton is hardcore? You just come to Brazil to see the real shit." So I think this guy should have done his homework first to see who Red Command is and PCC, and before call crazy. And I think Candace could have talked to Nick, because this is where she was, because I think Nick is still turning point USA, and this is when she had friction with TP USA, and I think both parts failed. But I don't think he he should have made a video calling she's crazy, it's BS, because both of them were right and wrong. The only guy that was in the wrong was the guy that made the documentary. But I don't think he had like a grudge against Candace. I think, like me, like, if I didn't know, and if I saw Candace go against Nick that hard, I would be like, "No, you're going against TP USA. Nick is just collateral." Okay, so, okay. Thank you guys for listening.